Hi and welcome to this tutorial. We are going to talk about skies today, and I'm going to show you a simple way to add elements to your drawing, even if you don't know what you're going to do. Keep in mind that ClipStudioPaint have default gradients for the sky, so you don't need to color pick, but you can always change the transition of the color with a soft round brush. Basically, the light color will define the position of your main initial light source that can be changed as you go. If it's up, so it's a day. If it's down, it can be a night scene with artificial lights, or it can be the beginning of the day, so the sun is rising. There are many ways to add shapes you can do with the selection tool, the square selection, the circular selection. You can add details by holding Shift. You can remove them by holding Alt, and you can also freehand all the drawings. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can start making shapes, and as you go you find something interesting by adding light to the shape. You can block the transparency to add all the details more easily. As you're gonna see in this drawing that we are doing, I will try to keep it under a regular speed. It's only increased by a little, so the video is gonna be a little longer, but you will be able to see more about the paintings. I didn't have an idea of what I was going to do for the tutorial, but I knew it was going to be an illustration with 3 planes of different gradations of tones. And initially we are blocking a shape for the clouds. I'm using the pen brush, G pen brush, to make a solid shape. To the solid transition I'm using a hard brush, and sometimes I'm using also the soft brush to add some detail. Also we are using a brush with some texture to add some randomness to the drawing. And in the edges we are scattering the cloud with simple dots. The distance between the dots increases as it goes away from the main shape. Notice that we can use also the transparency color. It's on the left side. It's close to the background color. And the interesting thing about the transparency is that you can remove information with a brush, not with an eraser, or not by making a different brush or a color. You can just remove information, and since we are on a different layer, you can see the sky in the back. You can also color pick colors around the shape to add this sort of ambient light. It makes the drawing really interesting, and the cloud seems to be in the world that you are drawing. The second cloud is much more easily to be made, since we have already a reference to tones, colors, and also for the shape. So if something is more round, we can make it a little more distorted to create a little of contrast, but it still is a cloud. I didn't knew at this point that I was going to use more light sources, but you will see that as we go, we kind of define more details to the drawing. Then on a new layer, we are starting to use these different techniques that we talk about. The clouds were made with a brush. Now we are going to add a shape for the tree with the lasso tool and adjust little details with the hue saturation. You can also use the color balance to help you. But the first step, as you can see, we are trying to find a shape. So it's all about silhouette. I didn't know if there was going to be more trees, if the shape of the leaves were going to be defined with the lasso, but we are blocking some things there and removing some information to add more interest to the drawing. And it is not positioned in the center, it's a little to the left, going to the right, and I'm trying to balance the details on the tree. It's something very fun to do. Even if you don't know how it's gonna be, you can find interesting shapes by just blocking the information there. Then I'm kind of rearranging the information to have the tree on the front. And now we are going to use some brushes. You can find them in the Clip Studio library. There are many brushes on the internet with the same idea. It's all about shape right now. We really don't care about light source, details. It's all about finding a nice shape. And we are adding in the same layer of the tree. Now we are going to do another layer with a lighter tone, then another layer as you go further back. You can alternate the flow, you can also make the darker tone on the back, but since we started like this, we have a bright sky. So I'm kind of trying to make things disappear as go away from our viewpoint. And I will try to add more information on the text that will be in the description. You can find not only my tutorial, but the tutorial of other people as well. And you can learn a lot from tutorials by applying the technique. Not only watching, but also making something with the information that you gather. Even if it's only one drawing, it helps a lot when you practice something that you are absorbing. Another foreground, a darker foreground, to make more separation and give some depth. Something very important as well is to rename all your layers to keep everything under control. And also I like to separate things in color. So I'm now adding different groups of colors to each part. If I was drawing a character, the yellow I like to use for the sketch, the orange for inking, the blue for the mask. If I like to add some detail, I like to put on the red color, but you can do your own set of colors as you like. Everything that needs a sparkle, I like to put the layer mode on Add Glow. It is a very powerful blending mode to use. It helps a lot to make smoke effects, light effects, eyes for anime characters. The glow is really shiny. And I was trying to do something like a shooting star. I discarded the idea after some tries. Because something new was happening there, I started to think about adding a new shape for the drawing, as you're gonna see in a few minutes. And as you can see, there's a lot of try and error. There's no shame in try something and see that it doesn't fit there, and then you remove and you try something else. That's the beauty of the digital art, that you can do all these changes so fast without losing material. And this is the last shape added to the drawing. From now on, everything's going to be more about adding details, adding light, finding places to add a tonal variety, and still mixing selection tools, brush tools, eraser, blending modes of layers, transparency. You can use all these tools of the software to achieve your drawing and make it look closer to your idea. Now there are some little windows there, and we are gonna do more gradient with different colors in a few minutes. There are many different ways to do the gradient. You can make a selection and do a normal gradient, foreground to transparency. You can also use the soft round brush to have more control over the transition. But basically that's it. This is the drawing. At the end we added a new layer to rearrange some colors and also a layer to frame the drawing, to add a variety. There we get a circular round shape on the top. You can do all the kind of things just playing with tones. And as you can see, there's nothing heavily painted here. The more details that we added are in the clouds, but everything else are solutions that you can find easily just by trying and making mistakes, and then trying again and find different shapes and find different solutions for the drawing. All the gradients are in a separate layer, so we clip a layer above to add the colors. So it's gonna paint only the gradient, and you can add all the sort of different colors that you want. So this is it. I hope you liked the tutorial. There will be some information in the ClipStudioPaint site. Hope you like it, hope you enjoy it. It can help you somehow. Leave a message for suggestions for future videos. See you later and take care.